On August 11th, the U.S. Department of Energy announced that they would provide around $1.2 billion in federal grants to several large-scale direct air capture projects, one being Project Cypress in Louisiana, which is being developed by Climeworks, among other companies, and the other project is the South Texas DAC Hub, which is being proposed by Occidental Petroleum and Carbon Engineering. The goal of these two plants combined is to remove more than 2 million tons of CO2 from the atmosphere per year. This would be a groundbreaking feat because the largest operational direct air capture facility is currently run by Climeworks in Iceland, and that project only captures 4,000 tons of CO2 per year. The U.S. government is playing a large role in the carbon capture sector because of this. The Biden administration has been taking these actions through some larger efforts to position themselves as leaders in the climate change and energy transition movement. And with concerns from scientists that we might not hit our goal of limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, this further emphasizes the need for technologies like direct air capture. So with new incentives from the Inflation Reduction Act, one of the focal points is to incentivize the development of carbon capture technologies. The ultimate goal being to bring costs down to less than $100 per ton of CO2 within the decade, which can currently go as high as $600 per ton right now. So it's incredibly expensive. It was estimated in a paper titled Buying Down the Cost of Direct Air Capture by Klaus Lackner and Habib Azarabadi, both researchers at Arizona State University's Center for Negative Carbon Emissions, that the direct air capture industry would need to grow by a factor of around 300 in order to achieve that cost of $100 per ton. This means that we have a lot of work to do to get this industry to economic viability. So from the Inflation Reduction Act alone, the Energy Department has $3.5 billion to invest in DAC facilities, which according to Princeton University's Zero Lab, will increase the use of carbon capture by 13-fold. A good start, and we can see that significant progress is being made here, but more will need to be done to bring costs down further. And much of this work will likely be done by the oil and gas companies. People will point out that Occidental's operating profit was $1.5 billion last quarter, free cash flow of around $1 billion, and say that spending around $1 billion on the carbon capture plant is actually insignificant to them, which is true in some respects. But I'd like to look at it more like, this is a significant amount of money for this industry. Projects like these will be crucial to the advancement of this technology. Depending on which research firm you're listening to, the size of the carbon capture market is only around a few $billion max. So even with half of their plant being subsidized, spending around $500 million on this relatively massive plant is a huge deal for the sector. Additionally, watching Occidental and other large companies enter the carbon capture space further incentivizes more companies to do the same. Many oil and gas giants have already started doing so. These companies will likely continue to receive subsidies, grants, tax benefits, among other incentives from the government for developing these technologies. So there are definitely some positives in it for them, among the publicity that can get some of the environmentalists off of their backs for a while as well. But we've seen this same trend happen before. The same thing happened with the renewable energy sector. When wind and solar projects were not profitable on their own, the government subsidized the industry, which brought an increasingly large amount of firms into the space to help advance the technology. So the government jumpstarts these industries, and then market enterprise takes over later on and brings substantial innovation and cost reduction. This is certainly what we're hoping for if we want to achieve our climate goals, but as the average retail investor, the main way we have in participating in the carbon capture space is through a company called Aker Carbon Capture, ticker AKCCF on the OTC. Full disclosure, I'm not a shareholder. And with that said, they currently have a market cap of around $800 million, and the company currently operates in Europe, but has been looking for options to expand into North America and the Middle East. So if you're looking for a public company that's likely to receive any of this money from the US or other countries, this is really your only bet. The company has achieved operations with 7 carbon capture units delivered so far, and they're sporting significant revenue growth as they've seen an increase of 57% in revenues over the past year. Granted, as you can imagine, the company is not currently profitable, but they do have some significant cash reserves as well. So as they continue to develop their technology, they'll hopefully reach a point where they can bring costs down to avoid burning any more cash. But either way, they should continue to grow revenues pretty quickly, because they've already secured contracts to capture up to 10 million tons of CO2 by 2025. Now remember, Occidental is going to capture 1 million with their new plant, so Aker will be sporting 10 times the capacity. So that's an interesting investment option to explore if you're looking for ways to invest in carbon capture. But if you'd like to learn more about options to invest in within the larger carbon market ecosystem, then I'll link to a video going over all those choices in the description below. Thanks for watching.